The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
This is Brad Marcus, and welcome to another episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest was trained by Larry Sharp, and you may have seen him in such promotions as Ring of Honor, Monster Factory, and he's been on AEW Dark, amongst many other promotions. But let's not delay any further. Let's welcome today's guest, someone who is absolute to mine, not even close. I give you the absolute athlete, Shaheem Ali.
Man, it's crazy. But my man Tommy Oliver, aka Green Ranger, passing away, that shit's still bothering me.
Finally, how are you?
Good. Doing good. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you perfectly. You know, there was a little bit of panic for me about 10 to 15 seconds ago. I felt a burp coming up. I'm like, oh shit. I thought it was going to happen when I came on air, but thank God it ended at the end of the highlights. Hey, thank you for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
What was I going to say? I will make this as painless as possible, honest to God. Just the first thing I want to ask you, though, and I just noticed that, was what is a motion capture actor?
Motion capture actor is something very new to me, to be honest. I recently, well, not recently, but for the last few years, I've been in contact with a company called Virtual Basement, and they have a wrestling video game. I'm not sure when it'll drop because it's still in production, but there's a lot of people in this game. Independent wrestlers and
Really?
some of the greats from WCW, WWE, ECW. So I got involved with them a couple of years ago, and the motion capture acting, you're doing your own video game stunts, and you get like the whole nine with the suit and
With the little balls on it?
yeah, and that's a motion capture actor.
Oh, wow.
So
Did you get paid for that?
Right now, no, because it's for the Virtual Basement game, and we have yet to. Once the game release,
Yeah, sure.
It's gonna be great. But right now, being a motion capture actor, I mean, I can claim it because I do motion capture on my own, moves and things like that. And I've been looking to get into that a little bit deeper out here in Atlanta. So I'm making some connections. So we'll see what's going on very soon.
Okay. When's this game supposed to come out, or is that like there's no set date?
It is to be announced.
Yeah.
As far as I know, because there's still plenty of people who still need to get their mocap work done. I myself still have to do some mocap work. Huh?
How long was like when you did this for them? How long did it take?
To be honest, we had to break it up in different sections because it's hours upon hours of things. Yeah, because people don't take in consideration of how much work goes behind motion capture. I didn't, for one, until I knew, and I'm just like, wow, I feel like I'm at my wrestling dojo and stuff like that at
Uh-huh.
the Nightmare Factory, but just triple time the work even more because you have to do a lot of repetitive things just in case the motion capture doesn't
Oh
catch
God.
it correctly, and then you got to go back and do it again, do the testing, and then get back in the ring, and then continue on and stuff like that. And there's like a whole set of moves that I don't even do, but it's there for the general
Oh,
gaming
they
experience.
wanted you
That's
to
cool.
do those things?
Yeah. There's the signature moves that I do, my
Yeah.
finisher, all the moves I would perform or the things that I can do
Uh-huh.
in a match, and then you have the general basics of the video game, wrestling video game,
Uh-huh.
so that's always cool to be able to just be
So
a part of that.
when they have you like, doing a punch, do you have somebody that you're throwing a punch at?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, so it's not you're just
It's
pretending
live.
you have.
Oh, it's live. Yeah. There's usually another wrestler um,
Okay.
willing to basically give his body up to take a lot of extra punishment.
Oh my God. That's great. I never thought about that. I always just figured like, yeah, like you're throwing punches at the air and trying to like like if you had an animated like opponent, you know?
Right.
Um, okay, well that's really interesting. I can't wait for that game to come out with that big of a roster.
Oh
D-
yeah. Yeah.
Um, did you
So much
did
going on.
you did you grow up in Philly?
My family grew up in Philadelphia. I actually grew
Okay.
up in Media, Pennsylvania, but I later on in my years, I spent about 10 years in Philadelphia in the Northeast.
So wait, how far away did you grow up from there?
In Delaware County, a little town called Media. If you live in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, you'll basically like have to go to Media if you have to deal with any like legal things. So like they're
Yeah,
known
yeah.
for, it's like a very rich town, I would say, in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
and it's changed culturally over the years, which is great. And it's a cute little town, And I grew up there. I eventually moved to Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, where I pretty much spent the rest of my teenage years there up until I was about, I'd say like 19 years old, and I left, and that's when I first started going to Philadelphia.
Did you move with your family?
Yes, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was
Okay.
a Halloween, and it was the first time I was in like about to go to sixth grade, and
Yeah.
you know, first time ever kissed a girl, and it's life is changing,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
as life is changing, I moved. So all my friends I grew up with since kindergarten up to like about to go to sixth grade, it was an emotional time,
Oh
you
my God,
know.
I bet.
And I was blessed to be able to make a friend the first time I got to my street on Copley Road in Upper Darby. And there's this one girl, she befriended me, and like she had like a whole bunch of friends, and like
Oh
eventually,
wow. Were you good with girls back then?
yes, because I grew up with my mother in a single home. My father, was a troublemaker, man. So
Sure.
he had to pay the price. He had to, he was in jail. You know what I mean? But
Oh God.
not a bad guy. Not a bad guy.
No,
Just
no, no. That
did silly
doesn't mean.
things that he wasn't supposed to do. And it sucked because
How old were you when that happened?
I was little. I was probably like, hmm, I want to say like maybe 8 or 9 years old or something like that. But
Did you have siblings?
yes, I do. I have a brother and a sister, but they're now 20 and
Oh,
24 and 19 now. So
yeah. So were you angry at your dad?
to be honest, yes, for a long time, like any
Hmm.
kid should be,
Yeah,
when they, having whether, the mother or father get along or not, the dynamic is still important to have a father around.
yeah, of course.
And I just grew up with a mom. So for me, going back to what you originally asked,
Mhm.
uh, my mom was like everything. My mom was my God. She was my God before I was introduced to her God, which is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And my mom was everything. So for me, I was always around women. I was always around my mom, my aunts, my grandmother. But I had two uncles that got me tough, and my mom was tough too. So like I was always good. But yes, I was always good with girls in a sense of being befriending them. I've always had more female friends than male friends because I think as men, and you can probably understand this, we're very territorial. At the same time, there's this masculinity that has to be matched in order to be able to hang with another guy. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
can't
sure.
hang out with a a goofball that's gonna cause trouble, or even if it is that troublemaker, you got to be able to reel them in, and uh, but yeah, I don't know. I was always good with befriending girls and things like that. Didn't have too many girlfriends growing up, but I was always hanging out with girls.
Talk to girls, like I was.
What's up?
I said you weren't scared to talk to girls like I was. I had like anxiety from some. Um, so okay, so did your mom have to like work a ton?
Actually, my mom passed away in 2014, to be honest. But if you're meaning in general, as I was
Yeah.
growing up, yes. As a single mother, she had to work 3 jobs.
Oh my
So
God.
she was, a hard working woman, and she was super tough, beautiful, just tough, beautiful,
Yeah.
tough, and just she was a superhero to me. And yeah, like
Okay, let me ask you a question then. Had she ever seen you wrestle?
yes,
Okay.
live she's seen me wrestle 2 times. She didn't really like it too much because she liked wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
but she, her baby boy,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
firstborn, it was just weird. It was one of those transitions she wasn't able to master, I guess, as far as being able to be patient and enjoy all the matches of it.
Yeah.
She'd seen me or seen the matches of on DVD when I would bring them home.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so let's back up a little bit. When you
Sure.
were a little kid, this is like a little boy, were you interested in things other than wrestling?
Yes, I wanted to be a Ghostbuster.
Really? Oh, really?
Yes,
Did,
I have a
how
tattoo. I
close
have a
did you
tattoo on
get to
my shoulder.
becoming one?
Um, I honestly, I used to just watch a lot of scary stuff. So, because I always thought that to be a Ghostbuster, you gotta be scared straight before
Yeah,
scared
yeah,
straight
yeah.
was a known thing. I was like, I always watched scary stuff. My mom always watched scary stuff, so I was always trying to toughen up, but I was a chump. You know, But one thing I was never afraid of ghosts.
Yeah, I
Monsters
bet.
for
Jeez.
sure.
Uh-huh.
Ghosts, no. I was like, no. If I'm a Ghostbuster, I cannot be afraid of ghosts. Even if I see stuff moving and all that, I can't. I wouldn't be able to be scared.
Did you
And
get that from the original movie or the cartoon?
both.
Both.
I forget which one I actually seen first, to be honest. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but when I laid my eyes on both, I was just like all into the animated series,
Yeah.
and the movies.
Did you
I have the most recent movie now, so
did you like I haven't seen that one yet. Like is that an Afterlife?
yes,
Have you seen it?
yes, I have the DVD. I seen it twice in the theater.
Is it
Um,
good?
it was great. I liked what they did as far as giving tribute to the old school Ghostbusters, and
Oh.
just being able to see where the new direction is going, starting from scratch with kids, and I think that's awesome.
Does it set up to make another movie? Like
Yes.
oh, I gotta
Yeah.
watch this. I gotta
Oh
watch
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. And they have like a nice little, you know, stay for the movie. Well, when you're in a theater, stay for that extra,
Yeah,
pet
yeah.
food. So they have that incorporated in the DVD, of course.
Oh, cool.
That kind of gives you that. Are you going to do another one? You know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, so you wanted to be a Ghostbuster. What did were your friends and family aware of this?
Oh yeah, they just thought I was just a silly kid because I was always
Yeah,
just a comedic goofball. So I'm
sure,
always
sure.
joking around. Everybody knows me for joking around or just always trying to make people laugh. So if I wasn't going to be a comedian, a
Yeah.
Ghostbuster, an astronaut, or a professional wrestler, I don't know what I would have been doing.
Oh, okay. So you had options, as it turns out. Did was it going to say when did wrestling first come into your like orbit?
The first time I actually laid eyes on it, I believe, and I would say on not to speak on other podcasts, but I think I might have got it wrong, but I believe that it was when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and
Okay.
I all I remember is seeing Macho Man Randy Savage get up to the top rope, and he pointed his finger up to the air, and he was just this larger than life at the time, Macho King. He was
Yeah.
just larger than life individual, and then eventually it trickled down, to seeing other wrestlers from the Ric Flairs to
Yeah.
Steve
Yeah.
Boat,
Where
Rhodes,
did you see wrestling
Dusty
for the first
Rhodes,
time?
huh?
Where did you see it? Was it on, like, were you at home and someone was watching it?
It was. I'm trying to remember if it was a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania I might have caught,
Okay.
but no, actually, excuse me. Uh, it was a Saturday Night Main Event, to be honest.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The old classic Saturday Night Main Event,
Yeah, I
and
watch that every Sunday morning, actually, still.
I just remember my mom was like knocked out. She put it on. She,
Hmm.
she sat me down. She put it on. I was having my food, and she was tired, and she put that thing on. Perfect. She had no
Oh,
idea. She had no idea what she sat in front of me or put before me
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that would
Did
get me here today.
did she ever watch with you?
Oh yeah, she was a not super huge fan
Uh-huh.
until like Triple H and well, I'd say Undertaker came onto the scene early
Uh-huh.
game, and then Triple H later on down the line, because she had those two posters in her room, and those are her two favorites. So like she definitely
Really?
she liked Undertaker and she liked Triple H. So that was one thing that was really cool about my mom, because like she was a very low key wrestling fan.
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't notice it, but if I watched it, she would never leave for like a while until she had to go do something else. But she would sit for like 3 or 4 matches, even with the
That's
commercials, because she wanted
wow,
to see
that's
what was going
like,
on.
are those like cherished memories,
Yeah.
like, of watching with your mom?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just because she was just so chill about it, like,
Yeah.
and she never really batted an eye, or never really spoke. We never really like had conversation about who my favorite wrestler was. She kind of
Yeah.
knew, because I'm running around the room, in my drawers and pretending to be Macho Man, as a little kid, like, and she's like,
Yeah, yeah.
what are you doing? I'm like, Macho,
Yeah,
know?
my proton pack is in the
Yeah.
shop right now, so I'm doing this. Um, did how were you as a student?
Oof. Well, this is the Toilet Side Wrestling
Yes.
podcast. So I can literally say that I was not focused all the time, to be honest. Um, I was a class clown. Some teachers weren't. I wasn't on their favorites list, but a lot of teachers I was. And
Mm-hmm.
I was really, I mean, I always kept like a solid B or C. I would have an A in gym
That's pretty
class.
good.
I was an athlete, so I would always have an A in gym class for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Um,
Were you on any teams?
I played summer league basketball for like 4 years
Oh, wow.
for the Police Athletic League in Upper Darby, and that was awesome. That was a great time. Got a trophy. I don't
Oh,
know if it's
nice.
that. I know it broke like years ago when my mom was still alive and kicking and stuff like
Yeah,
that. She
yeah.
had the trophy, but it broke. I forget how. I probably knocked it over or something doing.
You play guard?
I played center
Oh,
until there was like a bigger kid than me that was like, oh, I
yeah.
have it. But I played center, power forward, and small forward.
Oh, wow. And was there ever any like thought of going, like, into college and playing?
Yes, because I wanted to. I wanted to go to Temple University, but
Oh.
because I was a big Shaquille O'Neal fan, and the greatest center of my time, and
Mm-hmm.
I just really wanted to. I knew wrestling was for me, because I wanted to be a basketball player. I really
Uh-huh.
did, but wrestling always called to me. It was just something mystical about it that always called to me. It always my eyes always had to be watching. I always had to emulate,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and
Did
I
you
needed.
did you have this did you formulate any sort of plan while as you were getting close to graduating high school as far
Um,
as wrestling?
yes and no. I never did. The funny thing is, I never did or competed for amateur wrestling. I didn't even think, had I known that would have helped me get a lot further in my
Uh-huh.
sooner, I would have done it. But I had no clue. Like growing up until I was like 19, and people were like, "Oh yeah, have you ever done amateur wrestling?" I'm like, no, I didn't do any of that in high school. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I did not graduate from high school.
Okay.
Like I said, I was
Did
going through.
that upset your mom?
Yes and no, because my mother was always supportive of my
Mm-hmm.
decisions because she raised me to always be sure of things,
Okay.
and always to go after what I want. So for her, she was very nervous. She was very upset and disappointed. I remember she did cry
Sure.
because she wanted to see me graduate,
Mm-hmm.
but um, it just wasn't it wasn't a good fit for me at the Upper Darby High School. Some of the teachers were a little funky with their attitude and things like that. And when I tried to do good, I guess I already had the rap sheet for being a class clown. So they never really gave me a fresh start when I tried to
Yeah.
give myself a fresh start. And
Mm-hmm.
I got frustrated to the point where I was just like, you know what? No, I know what I want to do. I don't want to, and not, no offense to anyone that's put themselves through, furthering their education. But
Sure.
for me personally, I thought that college at the time was a waste because I know that to be a professional wrestler, you didn't need to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
You needed to know how to get in. You needed to
And
find a gym, and you needed to find a location to be able to train. And I was like, well, I'm going to make it. So I
yeah,
just need to
and
find it.
and with that plan you had, college isn't going anywhere. You know what
No,
I mean?
I
You're
plan on going back to school, by the way. Let me just
yeah,
add, I will.
e- exactly. Like that's going to be there, but like, you're young and you want to strike while the iron's hot, so to speak.
Right.
So when do you remember deciding, like, or did you have to get a job right away?
Oh, I did. I worked. The moment I knew, I kind of tried to secure things for my mom because,
Mhm.
like I said, she was worried, she was nervous,
Yeah,
and
sure.
I literally just sat down with her and I said, "Hey, I am going to drop out. I am not comfortable here at this school, and I feel like I could just go get my GED, and I will go work, and I want to pursue professional wrestling somehow, some way." And she wasn't so happy at first,
Sure, sure. She's a mom.
and yes, and she was like, "Okay, just make sure that you work.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're going to do this, you got to make sure that you work." And that's what I did. I started out at AMC Marple 10 in Springfield, Pennsylvania,
Nice.
um, working at the movie theaters.
Hmm.
18-year-old working out, working there with a bunch of 16-year-olds, and as everyone's just looking at me like, "Why are you here?" I'm like,
Money.
"Because I dropped out of school and I want to be a professional wrestler, so I'm here."
Oh, and now, what type of shape were you in at that time?
Still, I was like, man, super small. Wait, the I was like, shout out to my man Cheeseburger.
Mhm.
I was cheeseburger thin.
Oh, really?
I was cheeseburger thin, man. Six
Hold on.
foot.
I want to show you. This is just completely random what I was gonna wear tonight.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just completely coincidentally.
That's my bro, man. Big cheese.
Yeah.
Big in
Okay.
Japan.
So you were okay. So you were that small. Um,
180 pounds.
did you
185
think that?
pounds.
Did you think that was good? You were in a good enough shape to go start training?
No, I just didn't care. I was just like, you know what? I'll work out. I will
Yeah.
eat. I will do whatever. And at the time, my metabolism, as an 18, 19-year-old, it was just cutting, like just burning because it's just going down. And it's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat as much as I possibly could. I would eat like 5 to 6 cheeseburgers in one sitting, double fries, extra cheat. Like I was just packing on just because, eating tons of wings and all
Uh-huh.
that.
But
Nothing
you couldn't keep it on.
to keep it on. No problem. No, nothing. And it was rough because like so many other people were, bigger than me. And like, I just remember it started, I guess like at one point I started noticing that it started packing on when I turned like 20, 21. So I
Oh,
started
okay.
to stick on. So I was like, oh, I got to watch what I eat. And eventually I became a little bit of a fat ass for a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. But now, man, like it was rough when I first started out, like 19 years old, man, 2006 in of August. And I remember I was at Rockin' Rebels. He was not a nice guy, but I didn't care. And not to speak ill on the dead or anything like that,
Sure,
but
sure.
he and my father were the two main sources of my frustrations that pushed me to keep coming back to training. Besides the passion that I had for
Yeah,
wrestling,
yeah.
there was times where it almost felt like I needed to walk out that door, and because the guy was just not, like I said, he wasn't a nice individual. And I'm not saying a coach needs to be nice, but he
Sure.
was very ignorant. Not just because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was. I didn't know he was prejudiced until I found out later on when I actually worked for him. I was going through some tough times trying to
Yeah.
keep up with just paying dues and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And the AMC wasn't cutting it, so I was like, "Hey, I'll do whatever. Can I work for you?" Because he had a lawnmower,
Yeah.
and he had like a landscape business. So I was just like, "Hey, I'll do the lawnmower. I'll do the weed whack. Just teach me how to do it or whatever, and the way that you need to do it, and I'll work." So I worked
Yeah.
with him, and when I discovered that my coach was prejudiced, it ruined me a little bit.
I
Uh,
bet.
and I heard him over talking with one of the other guys that I would trained with that worked with us too. This dude, Sarge or whatever his name was, and I just remember he said something, making a joke, something N-word or whatever.
Oh,
Just
God.
like, oh my gosh, I'm like, here we go. So then I remember quitting his dojo for a little bit.
Was that the first place you trained?
It was
Okay.
in Phoenixville, and it was in. Excuse me, sorry about that. We're all over the place. Phoenixville, Pennsylvania,
Uh-huh.
at Blackballed Wrestling Organization. That's what it was called.
Okay.
This is where I met for the first time a lot of people who are still doing pretty well in their career. Rhett Titus was someone I met there.
Oh,
He didn't stay too long either. Rhett's awesome.
yeah.
Mercedes Martinez, shout out to Mercedes Martinez and Rhett Titus. Them two were definitely really cool people. They were ahead of me at the time, and they were just always approachable. I didn't really speak to them too much because I was like greenhorn,
Yeah, yeah.
the newbie. But I was just so excited to meet people that I was watching when they would perform on the shows, and I'm a student, so I'm like, oh my gosh, like I train with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they were really cool to meet, and I ran into them not too long ago. I traveled around the road. This is going ahead of time, but
Go ahead.
I'm still cool with Red Titus and Mercedes Martinez, who I ran into not too long ago. But yes, they will always be melted into my heart for sure.
That's impressive that you met the two of them who've had really nice careers. Like
Oh yeah.
in the first place you trained. How did you how did you decide to train there?
To be honest, it was a buddy of mine that I actually started wrestling with, Rob. My buddy Rob, his stepfather found the Phoenixville dojo or
Okay.
training facility because we were destroying the living room and the backyard at my buddy's house, and you know it was a blessing. It was a blessing and a curse, only because the place, like I said, dealing with what I had to deal with, a lot of
Yeah.
other people would have ran away and never would have, never came back, and I was just like, nah, that's not me. This is what I want. And if this is all I had no clue like what to look for because I wasn't looking in the right places.
Yeah, sure.
Had I known, I could have ended up at CZW. I could have ended up with Monster Factory way earlier on. Maybe even the Ring of Honor dojo. Had I known and did better research at the time, we didn't have great internet, so it was the dawn of the internet time. So it's like I didn't really type, in the search bar for wrestling schools as much as I should have. But luckily, my buddy's stepfather found it, and that's how it happened.
So when did you? Okay, so your boss was like prejudice. Where did you go after that?
I was invited to a company called ACPW, American Championship Wrestling. And this was
They reached out to you?
No, actual a wrestler by the name of Caveman. He was like, "Hey, you don't need to be here getting treated the way you do. There's a spot that I want you to check out." And yeah, I got to meet different, just different personalities. And this was in Philadelphia, so this is where I made my transition to get interested in being in Philadelphia a lot more. So ACPW was a very low rent company. Me and the booker always kind of butted heads a little bit because I was always speaking up for myself, and I always believe that no man, doesn't matter what profession that you're in, should talk to you any kind of way.
Yeah.
And he wasn't prejudiced, but he was just slightly ignorant. So I would always kind of combat him and speak up for myself. And sometimes I didn't know in the wrestling at the time in the wrestling world the different wrestling rules. I had no idea of wrestling. There was a wrestler's court. There's all kinds of stuff going on back then when I started that I had no idea of. I'm like, who determines what a wrestling court should look like? And who's the judge and the jury? And all kinds of stuff like that. And then I heard at the time, you could get blackballed at a professional wrestling. And I had no idea that was like a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just this 19-year-old kid just getting introduced to this carnival, this universe that I had no idea was there, right in front of my eyes. And man, it was a time.
Did you have somebody at your same level that you could like talk to, or was it like you were just on your own and there's all these vets and?
No, my buddy at the time that I started with, my Rob Prefontaine, he and I were called Guilty Conscience. Why?
Oh, okay.
We just thought it was a cool name. It sounded cool. We tried to come off as these tough, black guys or whatever from, the suburbs. And we didn't play no games. So it was just kind of like, we're coming to entertain and we're with what we get. And
so you had someone to lean on.
Yes,
coming up.
And he was one of my high school best friends too, so they always helped.
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. Now, do you remember your first match? Had you ever been in a wrestling ring prior to training?
No, I was never in a professional wrestling ring. Now, I couldn't even talk. I was not in a professional wrestling ring at all. And I'll go back to my first day of training.
Okay.
That's funny. The first day of training, I don't know the rules or anything. I just see the ring. I immediately get excited. My eyes light up. And the first thing I thought of was, all the high flyers that I loved and appreciated at the time. And, still to this day, like, Eddie Guerrero, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, like anybody I ever seen go to the top. I'm just like, this is my moment. And I just darted. My buddy's like, what are you doing? It's mind you, it's this, I'll paint the picture for you. This blackballed wrestling organization, it was in a garage, and they had it was in a very cold garage with very old weights, with web, they got spider webs all over. So
Oh,
no one's really
Jesus.
been using it. It's just, it's grungy, you know what I mean? And
Uh-huh.
it's like, I'm not even caring about none of the details of that. I just took off, climbed to the top, stood at the top, and did a swanton. Out of all things to do, I did a
Uh-huh.
swanton, not knowing how the ring felt. And man, oh man, I learned very quickly how exciting, but yet painful a
Yeah.
wrestling ring really
Oh
is.
my God. How did you know that you could even do one? Like, I mean,
Oh,
like, did you
wrestling
know
around with
you
my
could
friends,
flip?
wrestling around, practicing with my friends in the park. This was before, backyard wrestling was
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
recorded or ever, known to be a thing.
Uh-huh.
I believe that I was part of that generation that inspired what was that got started up, as far as
Yeah,
backyard
yeah.
wrestling. Because we wrestled anywhere and everywhere, elementary school parks, as long as the kids weren't around. We'd wrestle on top of me and my buddies, like wrestle on top of cargo,
Oh my God.
loads. I actually fell off of one before trying to be like Mankind. I was wild.
Did you get badly injured?
No,
Oh, wow.
probably the adrenaline and pain resistance that I had was high. So
Oh,
for me,
okay.
it was kind of like, oh, it hurt, but it was a good hurt.
Yeah, yeah,
It was like,
totally.
oh yeah, I need this.
Yeah, totally. It's a great
This is it.
story too. Did do, do you remember your first match?
Yes, my first match was actually against my trainer because I was kind of like his little funny way of trying to welcome us into the business as
Uh-huh.
he spoke. And it was a handicap match because me and my buddy were like I said, he was like, my buddy Rob was like a buck 65,
Oh my God.
maybe buck 70 soaking wet. And I was like 185, and it
Oh
was just
wow.
like, he just was able to take advantage of us. And it was terrible because like myself and Rob, he got chopped in his back and his chest and all that stuff. And
Uh-huh.
it was terrible because it wasn't a wrestling match. I knew it wasn't a wrestling match the moment
Was it
we
just like a
started.
punishment?
Not even a punishment. It was just kind of like it felt like an initiation, but it was like the wrong time. It didn't seem proper because it didn't seem like it was a show to me. There was nothing of it that we talked about.
Yeah.
And
There's no
because he said
story.
he was going to take it easy on us. He's going to give us, there might be he's like, there might be a suplex, there might be a body slam, there might be this and that. Just look out and just brace yourself, protect your neck.
Uh-huh.
None of that happened at all, and
Oh
it
wow.
was it was terrible. The only
Were
thing that
you
did happen
angry
was his finish.
afterwards?
Oh, I was very upset because had I know what I know now, I'd have been
Mm-hmm.
able to protect myself a lot more and show him up at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so where did you have your first like one-on-one match, where you were on your own?
Where I was on my own, it was a while because I was in a tag team, married to a
Mm-hmm.
tag team for quite some time. It wasn't until I want to say maybe I've been doing it since 2006. So let me
Yeah,
try
yeah, no, no, don't worry.
to. It was like a while. It was like a couple of years before I really had like a match that I can remember where I was actually turning heel, and
Oh,
I loved it. I didn't
did
know.
you
I had no idea how to be the bad guy, but I just had the idea in my head of the things that made me mad in my life is good enough motivation for me to have the mindset to go in there and know that I am not to be liked.
did you when you were a kid and you were, big wrestling fan, did you ever picture yourself as a heel or, or a face when you got older and were going to be in the business? Like, did you always picture yourself as like a hero?
To be honest, yes and no. I
Uh-huh.
always picture myself to be both
Okay.
because of the greats. Watching Macho Man flip, going from Macho King to Macho Man Randy Savage.
Uh-huh.
And he played. He did it so well to where it was like I didn't care when he switched it up.
Mm-hmm.
Where most people were like booing. I was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
please. more.
And and then when throughout your training do you start like thinking about a character and like the direction you want to go? Is that something you've
Um,
thought of as like a kid?
as a kid, yes, I always wanted to be pretty much like Macho Man,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just the flashiness. It was his the strength and the ability that he showed,
Mm-hmm.
um, athleticism, uh, and like going back, saying it again, he was literally larger than life to me. I was
Oh
just
yeah.
like, there's no way that this is a real human, whether he was on Arsenio Hall or just watching him perform. He was just
Uh-huh.
always Macho Man, and it was one of the greatest things you could ever see.
The, so how did you pick your finisher then? Because
I
is there a lot of
honestly,
thought that goes into that?
yes, it does, because I was fortunate enough to. I'm a huge video game player, so
Oh,
I was
okay.
fortunate enough to be playing a wrestling game since the beginning of time, since Nintendo. I've had,
Yeah,
WrestleMania and all the other, different wrestling games that came out with
totally.
names that weren't, affiliated with WWF, or excuse
Mm-hmm.
me, WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was just going through one of the recent games that were out at the time,
Mm-hmm.
one of the SmackDown games, and they gave you the option of being able to create a move. And this was like later on down the line that I actually created my own move that I still use to this day. But my first ever real finisher, I believe, was just a frog splash,
Okay.
because of Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Uh, one of the greats.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, frog splash was definitely one of my starting finishing moves.
Yeah.
Um, but the move I created
Uh-huh.
that I use now to this day is called the end game.
Okay.
Being a gamer myself, that's where
Uh-huh.
it derives from. It's basically an Oklahoma Slam spin out rock bottom.
Okay. Did I think I've seen that. Did you did you always make yourself in when you played like the
Oh
2K
yeah, for
games
sure.
or
Because I always wanted to picture myself on what I would like, what moves that I would want to
yeah.
study, or the moves that are already there that I actually do, and
Mm-hmm.
forgot that I know, because I know so much that over through time it just kind of, when going to different companies, or even then, when I got a chance to get my opportunity, which I know we'll talk about with
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor,
Mm-hmm.
um, there was a lot of restrictions, and I didn't like. I'm not big on restrictions unless it's absolutely necessary.
Okay.
And I just really disliked a lot of the companies I worked for, only because there was always somebody who had a move that I was comfortable doing,
Uh-huh.
and they would be like, "Hey, you can't do that because that's my finish," or "You can't do that because that's part of my repertoire." I'm just like, okay, but this is professional wrestling. Everybody
Yeah.
kind of reuse, recycle, because we're all fans at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So how did you end up hooking up with Ring of Honor? Or do they find you or do you like go to them?
No. They were scouting.
Okay.
I don't know how strongly, but I know they were scouting lightly. I moving on into the years, I
Mm-hmm.
was fortunate to get an opportunity to be seen by Kevin Kelly. I met him in a parking lot at the Monster Factory in
Mm-hmm.
Paulsboro, New Jersey. There was a seminar that he was a part of, and at the time I was in a tag team called AC Rock. And normally I wasn't the guy to be in the front man to talk first.
Yeah.
But this was during a time where I was at my one of my low points, because my mother passed away that very same year, and I just went in with as much promo energy I possibly could. And I don't recall exactly how the promo went,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that um, Kevin Kelly took a liking to me, and that was a huge blessing for sure, because I wasn't sure if I was going to put the boots down, because for me, my mother passed away, and
Yeah.
for me, before I had my kids, um, my mother, like I said, was everything. So her giving this gift of put me in front of that TV as a child to watch, Saturday Night Main Event,
Yeah.
changed everything, and I've never let it go. And I wanted to tribute and give back to my mom for working so hard as a single mom. And for me, I always see myself making it. And the moment
Hmm.
that I made it, that first, you know, paycheck, I'm hooking moms up. That was
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
that was the dream. So it's like I gotta make it. I gotta make the connections. I gotta get there because I have to get my mom that house.
Hmm.
That's really what it was about. And once I get my mom in a house, buy her a car, even though she wasn't big on driving, I would still, I just wanted to set her up because she
Yeah.
deserved it.
For
She
sure.
she earned it a million times over.
Hmm.
And when I lost her, I lost a part of I lost a part of myself, in a sense.
Yeah. A big part,
And
I'm sure.
the love that I had for wrestling started to dwindle a little bit, only because the lights started to go off, only because I felt like, well, who am I really performing for? And I wasn't in the right mind, because it was like, of course, the fans, the
Yeah.
people who I can inspire to want to
Hmm.
become something, even if it's not a wrestler.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when I lost my mom, man, it was rough. So it's like, I didn't know what I was going to do, but Kevin Kelly spotted me and spoke to me, and he walked me over to Rhett Titus, because Rhett Titus was actually at this seminar
Oh
uh,
wow.
at the Monster Factory. And
Uh-huh.
um, it was just funny because I don't think he knew I knew Rhett. And I've was like, yo, what's going on, Rhett? How you been? Whatever. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, hey, could you get him, Kevin Kelly, speaking of Rhett, you know, can you get him up there, whatever, on a Wednesday or a Thursday? And then he turned to me and said, can you get up there? And because
Uh-huh.
he's putting his name on the line.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's Kevin Kelly, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Um, and that day changed a lot, because at the time, when I first, and now we're going to go a little bit back in time, when I first
Uh-huh.
got a chance to see any footage of Ring of Honor, there were DVDs from an ex-girlfriend that she was just a fangirl.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure there's other names out there that the business used at a time, but she was a fangirl heavy. I didn't know that. I just thought she
Okay.
liked wrestling and liked me because I was doing both, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, being an awesome human being. I thought she liked that, and
Uh-huh.
then I'm funny, and I'm in wrestling, so I thought I was a package.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, she had this like huge collection of ROH DVDs, and
Okay.
I'm like just watching them. I got to see Special K. I got to see the Briscoes, Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn,
Hmm.
um, Kevin Owens. All the I got to see a lot of what Ring of Honor had to offer.
Yeah.
Roderick Strong, Adam Cole. Um, the list goes on.
Oh yeah. I mean, and they're all huge in like the mainstream promotions right now.
Right, right. So when I seen this, it definitely was like, oh, there's another place that is just as cool as an ECW or a WWE, but they're just not on mainstream just yet. I
Uh-huh.
was like, they go. And then like when I started watching it, and then I eventually got to the point where I got to see New Japan pro wrestlers be a part of Ring of Honor, and I was like, I lost my mind. I was like, wait, what is going on here? I was just starting to get introduced to a whole just depth of wrestling. I had no idea that there was, New Japan Pro Wrestling out there or anything like that. So I started getting to the YouTube a lot heavier.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And at this time, is the passion coming back at all?
oh
After
yeah,
your mom has passed, and
it was her,
hmm
and I believe it was her spiritually that had to come over me and made me go to that seminar, because I wasn't going to go, to be honest.
hmm
And I just think it was her in my head, like, you need to go. You need to go.
And was this the first time you're getting a consistent paycheck when you're in Ring of Honor?
Oh, no. Well, since we're all over the place,
Yeah.
when I going back to when I got the opportunity from Kevin Kelly to go
Yeah.
train, I got an opportunity to go train and to be welcomed in at the ROH dojo, and I trained a lot with Delirious, and
How
I
often was
didn't
a
get a
lot? Every
contract.
day?
It was four nights out of the
Oh,
week.
okay.
It was it was very educationally grueling because I will say that uh, Delirious has outstanding cardio.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And if you have to have a training match or just even a regular match with him, just a training match alone, I advise anyone to really get up in there with Delirious if you ever get an opportunity or go to any of his seminars. Big shout out to Delirious. Thank you, sir. He was all over me, and I was just not prepared for that kind of intensity, and his energy was just so live. And I really gravitated and looked up to him as well. Not just because he was the main coach, but is like my favorite word. I apologize.
That's fine.
Just my brain thinks about different things, so it floats all over.
Sure.
He really changed the game for me and helped me with the psychology of this industry. And yeah, thank you. Whenever you get a chance to watch this, Delirious, thank you.
Yeah.
And big shout out to, of course, Larry Sharp, who Pretty Boy Larry Sharp, who I met prior to his untimely passing. He was amazing. And then when I got handed over to Danny Cage, thank you, Danny Cage. Thank you, Larry Sharp. Thank you. There's so many people I could possibly thank in this podcast. It would go on. QT Marshall's another person. You got Damian Priest, who went by Luis Martinez at the time. Cody Vance, which is a good brother of mine. New Jack. I've been around a lot of people.
Yeah, God.
Blue Meanie, Too Cold Scorpio.
And everyone you've been in the ring with, like,
Right.
that's. Are you like proud of yourself? Like, say you decide you're to stop wrestling today, Altair. Are you impressed with like what you've done?
No, not at all.
No, why is that?
I think that through the times that I've gone through, the different things I experienced, and then that hit I took in 2014, honestly, man, I can honestly tell you that my brain was scattered a lot through life, just trying to figure out what my life is about now. Because she was, my mother was my world, so I never would have thought I would have lost my mom in 2014 or at all. So it was something unprepared, and cancer fucking sucks. So to have my mother ripped out of my world at a time where I'm a father, she's a grandmother now, and I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty good with wrestling. I'm starting to make moves, in the right direction with Ring of Honor. Yeah, I'm not happy with it because I need to go harder. I'm an emotional person, man. I'm a Scorpio, so I can give you the codex to who I am, but you'll still never figure me out. So,
I get that.
I will let you know I'm a human being, and I give a shit a lot about life and my life and the things that I need to do. And I want to be an inspiration. I don't feel like I'm there yet, because if I'm going to be an inspirational character or an individual in someone's life, whether you meet me on the street, whether we train together, whether you see me perform, I'm a human being all through and through. I love people, so I always want to be able to entertain I always want to be able to show love, and I feel like I haven't done enough of that yet on this planet. And professional wrestling is just one of the ways that I feel like I can connect and open me up to more, possibilities to be able to get people to be inspired to follow their dreams, to see my road and my quest
Yeah.
and where it's going. I'm not done. I just turned 37 on Thursday,
Oh,
November 17th, and I feel 24. So
oh, okay, awesome. How old
I'm not going anywhere.
you have? You have at least one child? Do you
Two,
have more than
two,
one? You have
two.
two. Have they seen you wrestle?
Oh yeah, they were around for a few matches, but they were little, very very small. The older that they got, they didn't really care. They just like, okay, my dad's a wrestler. You beat people up. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Did they
cool.
ever go in the ring with you?
Yes, when they were like really small, but I was weirded out because of germs and stuff. We're all sweating in there.
Yeah,
You don't know, what people got or don't. You know what I
for
mean? So
sure,
I
for
was like,
sure.
don't touch your robes. Matter of fact, just get out the ring. But the moment they start walking around, I get excited because I'm like, ooh, maybe my daughter or my son. But I'm like, for right now, get out the ring. But it looks cool. I did like them being in there. You know.
Do you ever wake up like on like a Friday or Saturday and the morning of a match that evening? Do you ever wake up and like, ugh, I gotta wrestle tonight? Or
Um,
is it?
there's only been a few times
Mhm.
that I could say I woke up and I wasn't really excited to wrestle.
Uh-huh.
Perform, I'm always excited to perform. let's
Yeah,
get that,
yeah.
let's get that straight. I love to perform no matter what.
Uh-huh.
um, but when matching with people, you sometimes get in there with people that you really would truly like to knock their block off, because certain people don't have the passion. They want to fake it to make it. Certain people out there, and they know who they are. Their business will wean them out, most
Yeah.
of them.
Uh-huh.
um, I'm not a big fan of people who aren't really living it when they're in there, because you gotta be able to connect in a different way when that light
Hmm.
switch hits, when that music starts and it's your song and you really love that song, and no matter what, it doesn't matter if there's 20 people sitting out there because it's a lighthouse. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if there's 100 people out there because the house is starting to build. If you're at a good company that's starting to make waves, or you're somewhere that's in an arena that
Hmm.
holds 30,000 plus or something, and um I live it, man. So it's like, if
Yeah.
I get in there with somebody that I know is not there yet, and I want to give them advice prior to, like,
Hmm.
hey, let's really like be in this. Like, I'm going to give you everything I have, and we're going to be sore at the end of the night, because this is going to be a wrestling match and this is going to be a fight, because that's what
Hmm.
I want. That's how I don't like, and this sounds crazy, I don't I'm not someone that can come alive if I know I'm in there with someone who is afraid to perform,
Yeah, yeah.
because I end up becoming a bully, and I don't like that. And it's not being a bully in the sense of like I'm just gonna just trash them with moves. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's that my profession has me at a level where I am not going to allow myself to look foolish out here if we're going to perform. And this can go from a regular 6 minute match to a straight up street fight for 6 minutes, if it
Yeah, yeah.
be that way, in order to cover this person's insecurity or
Hmm.
their unpreparedness. And I've been there. So, and I'm not saying I love making mistakes, but the one thing that I always preach to a lot of students,
Hmm.
in order to become a professional wrestler, you need to make mistakes, and you need to make them at training. And if they happen at a show, it sucks. It happens. That's why Botchamania was created. But hey,
Hmm.
you could always come back from it if you're a good person. And I'm one hell of a good person. So for me, if
Yeah.
anything I've ever dealt with that turned out to be botchful or a slip up or something, I always was like, the next match is that's the worry. That's the I don't want to go wrestle because I'm like,
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to perform, or it's just I know I'm wrestling somebody that I'm not too fond of, because in this business you meet different people and they come from different backgrounds and different life journeys, and you never know the type of people you're in there with. I've been in rings with people who got exposed in the Me Too stuff. So for me, like, I feel dirty sometimes, but obviously at the time you don't know. So it's like
Yeah.
nowadays it's kind of like I'm always like, I got to do research on this person. Not like, nothing super personal, but enough to where it's like, all right, let me have a conversation. If I get a chance to have a conversation with them, that lets me get a little closer to what their passion is, because I'll know that we're going to go out there and we're going to light it up because you love wrestling just as much as I do.
Sure.
But if you're someone that just wants a paycheck and you want to just get on an AEW or an NXT or an Impact, and you're just trying to get on just to get on, just to have money, like, this is not, it's bigger than that. Granted, the money's fine.
When you worked for AEW Dark,
Mm-hmm.
are you able to enjoy the experience, is it stressful?
It's everything is supposed to be. It's slightly stressful because if you've never done AEW Dark and you're trying to get into the rotation, it can be a little frustrating if there's so many different people in the back that are just working, and everyone's moving, and it's the production area is no joke. So it's like, you gotta like know who you're supposed to talk to. And granted, most people introduce themselves, but the moment they introduce themselves, they shouldn't have to do it twice. And you need to be on your game. But trust and believe that AEW is a wonderful, wonderful company that I was very happy to be able to get an opportunity to go up there, and I'm going to go back. I can tell you that I'm going back. I don't know when, but I'm going back.
You'll be there.
My face is going to be seen. I'm going to get my opportunity. But yes, I really enjoyed being there at AEW Dark. It was very awesome to be able to see what goes on. It's exciting, and you got different people you watch. You got different people walking past you that you do watch. I always get excited to see a wrestler. I don't care if he's the same age as me or younger. Or
totally.
I already know. It's exciting, You get a chance to just be a part of something special, because someone, whether they're catching it on, when they catch it on YouTube, or they're watching the company faithfully and things like that, it's exciting to meet fans that know that you've gotten opportunities, and then it branches out further. It's that connection that you make with people. And then again, when I'm speaking to another talent, it's always cool, because then I get to hear a little bit about their story and where they came from and what got them here. It's exciting to me. Like, I love professional wrestling for its journey and its adventure that comes with it. That's totally unexpected.
In the last, say, 15 to 20 years, has there been a day that you didn't think about wrestling at all?
That I didn't think about wrestling?
Yeah.
No. I'm honestly, I feel like I'm somewhat of a not a maniac, but I go a little crazy sometimes with certain things, because the people I trained with and the information that they gave me, it kind of just rains upon me all the time in my brain. I'm always thinking. So when I watch a movie, an action movie, whether it be a martial arts flick, or it be like just a general action movie from the old school Stallones and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Van Damme and Jackie Chan, Wesley Snipes. I could name a lot of people that I watched their movies, and like, I want my wrestling to have that action feel to it.
Yeah.
Because come on, everybody knows what wrestling is. I'm not going to use the bad F word. But everyone knows what professional wrestling is, and it's art. It's more than just entertainment. It helps people in different ways. I've met people that they've told me wrestling has saved their life, and it also saved my own. So, wrestling is bigger than just what you see. It's what it does for you. You get excited to go talk to somebody about wrestling, and you bump into somebody in the store. They might see you with a t-shirt or whatever, and you might now make a new buddy, or you might meet the love of your life because she or this individual, she, he, him, them, whatever. I don't want to be rude.
No,
you might meet somebody that never was meant to be in your life, but wrestling brought them to you because it's something more, and I want to be a part of that. I want to be that person on the shirt. I want to be that person on the lunchbox. I want to be that guy that's on TV, that's seen, that people can listen to and hear and feel that everything that I say or what I believe in has never been fake, and everything
Yeah.
that I am is always going to be brought to you as I am. I consider myself, going back to what you were saying before,
Uh-huh.
you were talking about the character stuff. I've always struggled with, to be honest, I've struggled with the whole finding a character thing because I've always felt pressured from different trainers of my past. Not a
Mhm.
Larry Sharp or anything like that, but or not even Delirious.
Mhm.
But there's just different people that always harped on it, and it was just like, well, I'm me, and I feel like I myself, I'm a character. I've always been a class clown. So, not saying I want to have wrestling matches that involve so much comedy because I don't want to get typecasted as a comedic
Yeah,
wrestler.
yeah. Mhm.
Um, but there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun and
Yeah.
some hilariousness along the way, which I have done, and I'm always open to it. But I've always seen myself to be my. I always wanted to find out that part of me that's been the class clown, that part of me that always been that inspiration, and that just that no quit energy that I have. But I'm also just very animated naturally.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I've never. Still to this day, I can honestly say that I'm always switching it up in some sort of way because my mood always switches. So when the mood switches, the personality is still the same, but there's a part of that trait that turns up. So it's like if I want to walk out, for instance, if I want to walk out on my next match, and I've had a bad day,
Uh-huh.
I will ask the booker if it is okay to switch up my role because I will illuminate. I will create a bright light with my energy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know that if I'm a babyface, I'm still going to do the same thing. If I'm having a
Mhm.
great day, it's going to be even better. If I'm having a bad day, it's going to get better the moment my music hits. And I'm a bad guy, That's why
Yeah, yeah.
I've always wanted to be both. But
Uh-huh.
I've done the character work before,
Mhm.
as far as like I was doing like a party, not like not like the party, uh,
Uh-huh.
but I was always doing something that was like going with the time. So I remember I was doing like a shuffling dance thing for the tag team AC Rock and
Mhm.
the Monster Factory, and we were kind of like doing a tribute to LMFAO because Party Rock is in the house tonight. That was like when that came out, that changed partying for like quite some time. And
Uh-huh.
I thought it was perfect because the at the time the partner that I had, he listened to it, I listened to it. We
Mhm.
also both trained at the same place, and then I eventually, you know, was kind of like help training him a little bit before
Mhm.
we um, transitioned over to the new Monster Factory in
Okay.
Paulsboro
Mhm.
at a time, and it was perfect. So I can do the character work, yes, but
Yeah.
for me, I'm still trying to find Shaheem Ali, the entertainer. And I think that's where I'm at now. I think that I'm the entertainer. I'm not going to say I'm like The Rock or
Mhm.
Booker T or Macho Man, but I can emulate what I've loved. And to me, I believe everything I say. So now I would
Mhm.
say maybe I have somewhat of a character. And I know people are probably like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
why are you burying yourself?" No, I'm not burying myself. I'm an honest man, and an honest
Yeah.
man can make it. And I feel like I am the real deal for real, and that's what my moniker or my punch
Uh-huh.
line is. I am the real deal for real, Shaheem Ali, and everything you see and everything I say and I do, you're going to believe it because that's exactly who I'm giving you. And I feel like the more I'm able to put that in the minds of people that I am the real deal for real, when they see me perform,
Mhm.
there's a magic there with my from the facial expressions to my body mechanics to you could see my passion. You could see that I'm in this.
Yeah.
perform for the fan, for the people who love wrestling and who are really a part of the culture. Because this opportunity to be a professional wrestler, and my body can take this kind of pain, and I can still go out there and still give people, a ride,
Hmm.
as far as like an adventure, whether it be 6 minutes, whether it be 8 minutes, whether it be 10 minutes, whether it be a half hour, I'm going to give you an adventure. I'm going to take you on a ride. This journey, this matchup is going to be exciting either way, because you're going to have something to take away when you watch me perform. I kind of went off. A little bit.
No,
I
it
went
was
off a little
perfect. Um,
bit.
well, Kaiser, I have like 50 other questions, but I
Please.
sense a divorce might be in my future. If I don't wrap this up soon, can I ask you 5 non-wrestling related yes or no questions?
Sure.
Okay. Can you burp on command?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Do you have any plans to participate in the 2023 World Cow Chip Throwing Contest?
World what?
Cow chip throwing contest?
No.
Okay. For $16.2 million, would you play running back for one game? Maybe you'll get 20 carries in an NFL game without a helmet.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever eaten something that was still alive?
Have I eaten something that was still alive? No.
Okay. And the last question, you're doing great. Have you ever or do you currently ever go out wearing a cape?
A cape?
Hmm.
Um, I, I'm sure enough I will do it.
Okay. Um, you 5 for 5. You did great. Perfect. Um, where are you going to be? Where are you performing next?
Right now my bookings are open, so bookers, if
Mhm.
you want to hook a brother up with a booking, I mean, I'm all about it.
Yeah,
Um,
the only book I give you is to babysit my kids, so I can go out for an hour.
I'm very and people don't. I've had people make their opinions about it, but I'm very strategic.
Mm.
37 years old
Yes.
now, and I've been wrestling for 16 years.
Mm.
I've been able to make it back from some small injuries and things like that.
Yeah.
Luckily, thank God, I haven't had any crazy concussions. So I'm at a point where I moved to Atlanta last
Hmm.
year, so this is where I'm at right now, and I'm
Hmm.
just figuring life out. So with figuring life out, wrestling is still very important, but life is more important, and
Yes.
figuring out where I need to be in life in order to have myself correct for when it's time for me to perform, because I can't be distracted when I go into that ring. And if I have things outside of wrestling, like outside, life things
Yeah.
going on, I need to fix them before I perform, because I will not be able to be at 2,000,000%.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, that makes sense. Well, hey, listen, thank you for coming on. It was a treat being able to talk to you and hear your stories and your honesty, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I wish you nothing but health and success going forward, and hopefully we get to talk again some other time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, hey man, I just did I had an event with District Wrestling about 2 months ago, and
Uh-huh.
kind of trying to work with them. And I also did want to mention, because I have to plug it.
Sure.
Uh, I recently have got involved with the Eat Clean Bro company that is in New Jersey and Atlanta, and it's a fantastic company that, if you eatcleanbro.com, if you want some of the finest uh, meals for your workout or just in
Uh-huh.
general, Eat Clean Bro is amazing. So I linked up with them. So my code should be coming out soon, so I can share that. Uh,
Oh, cool.
and I also have been working with a energy company called Mado, Mado. Uh,
Okay.
look them up on you can look them up on my page, or you can look them up on Instagram. It's
What
it's
does
well,
Motto do?
Motto has BCAAs, of course,
Hmm.
plenty of vitamins that are really good for you to keep you awake, keep you alert, keep you focused, and
Oh,
it doesn't give you a crash. There's a lot of healthy just vitamins that are in it.
uh-huh.
There's like a list, a nice
Sure.
nice list, and I really believe in this company because I've had the C4, I've had um, Ghost, I've actually still I got Ghost and I Motto all over.
Uh-huh.
Um, I still use Ghost only because I like my pre-workout. But
Uh-huh.
this can be used as just you can use it as a pre-workout, you can use it post-workout, you can use it during, you use it anytime. Really, it doesn't you don't have to be in a gym to drink Motto. It's
Oh, okay.
you could have it with alcohol. You know what I mean?
Oh, jeez.
Um,
Okay.
oh yeah, for sure. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah,
But yes, I'm making moves, man. And then like I
that
said,
sounds
the
awesome.
motion capture work. I'm getting with a studio very soon out here. So just trying to get in the trying to be in showbiz, but still staying true to being a professional wrestler.
Sure.
The Nightmare Factory Fitness is an amazing place, and I've been very humbled and blessed to be a part of it. Thank you,
Mhm.
QT Marshall,
Uh-huh.
for that. And yeah, you're gonna see me, man. Whether
All
it be
right.
AEW Dark or at an independent wrestling company, you're going to see me. I promise you.
Awesome. I look forward to that. All right. You take care. Thank you again so much. And we'll talk again.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Thank you
All right.
very
Take care.